Our minds are amazing. They process information quickly. But this speed has a trade-off. We make snap judgments. These judgments are unconscious biases. They are shortcuts based on our experiences. These biases can be helpful. They can also be harmful. They can lead to unfair treatment. Unconscious biases are not intentional. We are often unaware of them. This makes them hard to identify and address. We all have unconscious biases. They affect our interactions. They shape our decisions. Understanding these biases is important. It helps us create a fairer world. We are constantly bombarded with information. Our brains need to simplify this information. This is where unconscious bias comes in. It helps us categorize and make sense of the world. But this simplification can have a downside. It can perpetuate stereotypes and prejudices. Unconscious bias operates outside of our awareness. This makes it different from explicit bias. Explicit bias is a conscious prejudice. We are aware of these biases. We may even endorse them. Unconscious bias is more subtle. It operates automatically. It can influence us even when we don't want it to. Our biases are shaped by our experiences. These experiences can be as varied as the people we meet, the places we visit, and the stories we hear. They form the lens through which we view the world, often without us even realizing it. This includes our upbringing, cultural background, and social interactions. The family environment we grow up in, the traditions we follow, and the social norms we adhere to all play a significant role in shaping our perceptions. From a young age, we absorb information from the world around us. Children are like sponges, soaking up the attitudes and beliefs of those around them, whether it's from parents, teachers, or peers. We learn to associate certain groups with certain characteristics. These associations can be based on what we see and hear in our daily lives, and they can be reinforced by the people we interact with regularly. These associations can become ingrained in our minds. Over time, they can solidify into biases that influence our thoughts and actions, often without us being consciously aware of them. The media plays a role in shaping our biases. The stories we see on the news, the characters we watch in movies, and the narratives we follow in books all contribute to our understanding of the world. Media often portrays certain groups in stereotypical ways. These portrayals can reinforce existing biases and create new ones, influencing how we perceive people who are different from us. For example, news reports may focus on crime in minority communities. This can lead to a perception that these communities are more dangerous, even if the statistics don't support this view. This can create a negative association. When we repeatedly see negative images and stories about a particular group, it can shape our attitudes and beliefs about that group. Advertising can also perpetuate stereotypes. The way products are marketed can reinforce traditional roles and expectations, often without us even noticing. Think about how women are often portrayed in cleaning product ads. These ads can reinforce the stereotype that cleaning is a woman's responsibility, even though this is not necessarily true in modern households. Our personal experiences also contribute to our biases. The interactions we have and the events we witness can leave lasting impressions that shape our views. If we have a negative experience with someone from a particular group, we may generalize that experience to the entire group. This can lead to unfair assumptions and prejudices. This is known as the availability heuristic. It's a mental shortcut that relies on immediate examples that come to mind when evaluating a specific topic, concept, method, or decision. We tend to overestimate the likelihood of something happening based on how easily we can recall examples. This can skew our perception of reality and reinforce our biases. Our biases are not fixed. They can evolve over time as we gain new experiences and insights. By actively seeking out diverse perspectives, we can challenge and change our preconceived notions. They can change over time with new experiences and exposure to different perspectives. Traveling, meeting new people, and engaging in open conversations can all help broaden our understanding and reduce our biases. By understanding the origins of our biases, we can start to challenge them. Self-awareness is the first step towards change. Reflecting on our own beliefs and questioning their validity can lead to personal growth. We can work towards creating a more equitable society. By promoting inclusivity and understanding, we can help break down the barriers that divide us. It's important to remember that everyone has biases. Acknowledging this fact is crucial in our journey towards self-improvement and social harmony. It's part of being human. Our brains are wired to categorize and make quick judgments, but we have the power to override these automatic responses. The key is to be aware of our biases. By recognizing them, we can take steps to mitigate their impact on our decisions and interactions. We need to recognize how they can influence our thoughts and behaviors. Through continuous learning and self-reflection, we can strive to become more open-minded and empathetic individuals. Culture is a powerful force. It is the invisible hand that guides our thoughts, actions, and interactions. From the moment we are born, we are immersed in a cultural environment that shapes our worldview. This environment includes the traditions, customs, and norms that are passed down from generation to generation. It is through culture that we learn what is considered acceptable or unacceptable behavior in our society. It shapes our values, beliefs, and behaviors. These cultural influences are so deeply ingrained that we often take them for granted. They become second nature to us, guiding our decisions and actions without us even realizing it. For instance, the way we greet each other, the foods we eat, and the holidays we celebrate are all influenced by our cultural background. It also influences our biases. These biases can be both positive and negative, and they affect how we perceive and interact with others. Cultural biases can lead to stereotypes, which are oversimplified and generalized beliefs about a particular group of people. These stereotypes can be harmful, as they often lead to discrimination and prejudice. Culture teaches us what to think about different groups of people. From a young age, we are exposed to cultural messages that shape our perceptions of others. These messages can come from various sources, including our families, schools, and the media. For example, the portrayal of different ethnic groups in movies and television shows can influence our attitudes towards those groups. These cultural messages can be subtle or overt. Sometimes they are explicit and easy to recognize, such as a news report that reinforces a particular stereotype. Other times, they are more subtle, embedded in the language we use or the jokes we tell. Regardless of how they are conveyed, these messages play a significant role in shaping our perceptions. They are often reinforced through media traditions and social norms. Media in particular has a powerful influence on our perceptions. The stories we see on television, in movies, and in the news can shape our understanding of the world and the people in it. Traditions and social norms also play a role, as they dictate what is considered appropriate behavior in different situations. For example, in many cultures, there is a strong bias towards youth. Youth is often associated with energy, innovation, and potential, while aging is seen as a decline in these qualities. This cultural bias can lead to ageism, which is discrimination based on a person's age. Older people may face discrimination in the workplace. They might be overlooked for promotions or new opportunities because of the assumption that they are less capable or adaptable than their younger colleagues. This can lead to feelings of frustration and inadequacy among older workers. They might be stereotyped as being out of touch or technologically inept. These stereotypes are not only unfair but also untrue. Many older workers are highly skilled and bring valuable experience to their roles. However, the cultural bias towards youth can overshadow these contributions. This bias is often rooted in cultural beliefs about aging. In some cultures, aging is revered and older individuals are respected for their wisdom and experience. In others, aging is seen as a negative process, leading to a loss of status and respect. It ignores the valuable contributions of older workers. By focusing solely on age, we overlook the skills, knowledge, and experience that older workers bring to the table. This not only harms the individuals affected, but also deprives organizations of valuable resources. Culture also shapes our understanding of gender roles. From a young age, we are taught what is considered appropriate behavior for men and women. These gender norms can limit opportunities and create barriers for individuals who do not conform to them. In many societies, there is a bias towards men in leadership positions. Men are often seen as more capable leaders, while women are expected to take on supportive or nurturing roles. This bias can make it difficult for women to advance in their careers. Women may face barriers to advancement. They might be passed over for promotions or not taken seriously in leadership roles. This can be incredibly frustrating and demoralizing for women who are just as capable and qualified as their male counterparts. They might encounter stereotypes about their leadership abilities. These stereotypes can include beliefs that women are too emotional or not assertive enough to be effective leaders. Such biases are not only unfounded but also detrimental to the progress of gender equality in the workplace. This bias limits opportunities for women. It creates an uneven playing field where women have to work harder to prove themselves and overcome the barriers placed in their way. This not only affects their career progression, but also their overall job satisfaction and well-being. It prevents organizations from benefiting from their talents. When women are not given the same opportunities as men, organizations miss out on the diverse perspectives and skills that women bring to the table. This can hinder innovation and growth. Cultural biases can be deeply ingrained. They are often passed down through generations and reinforced by societal norms and institutions. This makes them difficult to recognize and even harder to change. They can be difficult to recognize and challenge. Many of us are unaware of our own biases because they are so deeply embedded in our cultural framework. It takes conscious effort and self-reflection to identify and address these biases. However, it is important to acknowledge the role of culture in shaping our biases. By understanding the cultural roots of our biases, we can begin to challenge and change them. This is a crucial step towards creating a more inclusive and equitable society. This understanding is essential for promoting cultural competency and creating a more inclusive society. Cultural competency involves recognizing and respecting the cultural differences of others. It requires an open mind and a willingness to learn from those who are different from us. By recognizing the power of culture, we can start to question our own assumptions. We can become more aware of the biases that influence our thoughts and actions. This awareness is the first step towards change. We can challenge biases that are rooted in cultural stereotypes. This requires ongoing education and self-reflection. It also involves creating spaces where open and honest conversations about bias can take place. This requires a willingness to learn from other cultures. By engaging with people from different cultural backgrounds, we can broaden our perspectives and challenge our own biases. This can lead to greater understanding and empathy. We need to be open to different perspectives. By embracing diversity and challenging our own biases, we can create a more inclusive and equitable society for everyone. Unconscious bias can have a significant impact on our decision-making. It often operates without us even realizing it, subtly influencing our thoughts and actions. It can influence our choices in subtle but powerful ways. These biases are ingrained in our subconscious, shaped by our experiences, culture, and societal norms. This is because our biases operate below the level of conscious awareness. We might think we are making objective decisions, but our subconscious mind can steer us in certain directions. They can affect our judgments even when we believe we are being objective. This can be particularly problematic in professional settings, where fairness and impartiality are crucial. For example, studies have shown that people are more likely to hire candidates who are similar to themselves in terms of race, gender, or background. This phenomenon is known as the similarity attraction effect. We are naturally drawn to people who remind us of ourselves, which can create a homogeneous work environment. We are naturally drawn to people who remind us of ourselves. This can lead to a lack of diversity in the workplace, which can stifle creativity and innovation. A diverse team brings different perspectives and ideas, which is essential for problem-solving and growth. Unconscious bias can also affect our perceptions of others' competence and abilities. We might unconsciously favor those who fit our preconceived notions of what a competent person looks like. For instance, we may underestimate the abilities of individuals from certain groups. This can lead to unfair treatment and missed opportunities for those individuals. This can result in unfair performance evaluations or missed opportunities for growth and development. It's important to recognize these biases to ensure everyone has a fair chance to succeed. The impact of unconscious bias on decision-making is particularly concerning in areas such as criminal justice, healthcare, and education. In these domains, biased decisions can have serious consequences for individuals' lives. For example, a biased judgment in a courtroom can lead to wrongful convictions or unfair sentencing. It's crucial to be aware of the potential for bias in our decision-making. By acknowledging our biases, we can take steps to mitigate their impact. By implementing strategies to mitigate bias, we can strive for fairer and more equitable outcomes. This includes training programs, diverse hiring practices, and creating an inclusive culture where all voices are heard.